Welcome to the show. This is No Interference. We are your hosts, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. We are, coming up on a little bit of an extended break we've had, but we are trying something new today. We are men of the people, the average men, sports fans. So we're going to be diving into some NBA talk today. So hopefully you're like, oh, finally they're doing it, they're branching out. Or some of you might be like, oh god, not football, canceled. But we're in the heat of the NBA playoffs in the conference finals, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So we're kind of just going to dive into it. At the time we're recording, well, go ahead.
We've had plenty of time to talk after, great games, stuff I'd be excited to talk about, but we pick like the worst moment
Literally
of
the
the
worst
season.
time. After not just the first loss, but the second loss at home for the C's.
Yep.
It's a tough one. It's a tough to give up two at home, to the away team, especially knowing you're going right back to their house the next time you see them. It's all about momentum, I feel like, in these playoffs a lot of the time too. So,
not to be a Debbie Downer, but I think in the conference finals, teams that go down 0-2 are 6 and like 35 historically.
which means there's still a chance, though. That's what it comes down to.
Two of them were LeBron James comebacks.
Yeah, and LeBron is dealing with the same thing right now.
No,
With Denver having a 6-0, Denver has a 6-0 record after winning the first two games in this game of 7 series.
Yeah, I don't know what series you want to talk about first. Celtics, Heat, or
Let's talk the most recent game, the
tonight.
fresh.
Yeah.
So as of this
I was trying to look up the stats for the teams down 0-2. I thought it would be something easy. We have the technology to where I should put in a relatively like bland question in Google and it should be able to figure out what I'm asking, but I'm getting like 40 different results. So I think Google's lost its touch.
There's no
Chat GBT is a thing now and Google can't keep up.
Ja Morant. You guys see that Ja Morant is being accused of using his apology message like through Chat GBT?
Oh, really?
He literally, yeah, that's like it's like the font, it was like the actual app itself, like the you ask the question, how do I make an apology, to everybody, and literally the exact words that were put out from ChatGPT, or was it
That's pretty funny.
GPT, right?
GPT, I think.
PT, yeah, GPT, which I actually just heard of myself last week, so I'm a little back on that. AI, everybody's talking about AI nowadays.
I want to do
not
a
the
little
Allen
social
Iverson practice
experiment.
talk that we're trying to get into right now, but
So by playoff round, teams that have started 0-2 have won the series 9% of the time.
it's tough, but it's still doable, especially with a team like the Celtics do have.
I said it was 6 to 30, 6 of 36. It's 6 of 56.
Chat, what is it? Chat GPT?
GPT.
The AI. GPT. No, yeah, I just asked the question. Google and Chat GPT can't do it. It just gave me what being down 0-2 in the playoffs mean.
It means I'm feeling sorry. That's what it means. It's a tough one.
Hang on, one more try. No, this is not going to work. What was the stat you said, Taylor?
Basically, it's a 9% chance. Their teams to go down 0-2 are 6 and 56 to win the series.
Oh, so it's only been 6 teams
to ever win after going down 0-2 out of 60 something.
Okay. I take back everything I said about Google because that's the first answer. I was like, that's not right. There's no way. There's only been 6 teams that came back from 0-2.
Yeah. Well,
I thought it would be way more than that.
Well, that's
like in
just
the
for the
finals, it's
conference
only happened once.
finals.
Yeah, conference finals. Like at the playoffs in
It's
general.
happened. Yeah.
This says 6 teams have overcome a 2-0 deficit in NBA playoff
Well,
history.
in the whole history, if you include all playoffs, it's 33 out of 400. But in the conference finals, it's 6
Doesn't
out
make
of
it any better.
56.
It's around the
So
same. It's
Google
around the same.
knows.
Yeah,
What does
same
Google
ratio.
know? Whatever. So the Celtics' chances aren't great. That's what we're saying.
But yet, still
I
not
mean,
impossible, especially
they
at
can
And
turn
I would like to know the specifics of the 6 teams that have overcame the deficit. How many of them were down 0-2 from their own, losing home court too?
I mean, you just got to steal 2 from the Heat now. Like, it's what it is.
It's bad enough to lose one game at home and lose home court, and to have to steal one back, but they kicked down our door, and like they not only took our money, but they took our underwear for the week too. We
Whose
just
house
got to
is
go
it?
out the Celtics' house,
Exactly.
TD Garden.
My thing is like, how's Caleb Martin torching the Celtics?
That's the answer I don't have a question for.
He's actually. I
Question
think
2.
all playoffs.
Answer 2.
He's been shooting threes pretty well throughout the playoffs.
The Heat
He's just
were a
one of
guard.
the guys that I feel like has turned on in the playoffs. When role player that's been he's a starter for
He
if
averaged
Tyler Hero's playing, I mean, just is
his
Tyler Hero's healthy? Does he even play?
his
as much
career
as he is now?
average is 8 points per game. This year, this is in this regular season on basically 30 minutes a game, he averaged 9.6. But in the postseason, he's he's had a couple good games, but in the postseason, he's been about his career average. But for the Celtics, he dropped 15 on 6 of 11, 3 threes, and then game 2, he dropped 25 on 11 of 16, hitting 3 threes again. And he's basically been the difference maker.
I feel like he has the green light. They're letting him ride the hot hand. Just let him shoot whenever he has an open shot. I mean, there's been a lot of, from what I was watching, most of the game, like the shots that they're taking, especially like, okay, we all saw Jimmy going down he went to the right side every single time to the baseline and had a little mini jump fade away. That's his spot, right? I don't know why they didn't focus on that. Besides the point, if not, that wasn't available. They're dishing out to the outside and they're taking shots that are contested, but yet he's just shooting. They're shooting immediately. He has the green light. He's the hot hand when it comes to 3. You gotta let it ride.
I mean, Caleb Martin today, not even so much the 3-pointer. He was making all of his drives, and they were contested drives on Jaylen Brown multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he had a few over Robert Williams too. They were just tough shots, and I mean, some of them there's nothing you can do. And it's just, of course, he's having, the game of his life when
Exactly.
Jaylen Brown, had a stinker. But I don't know. There's so many things to point to for this game in particular. Not even focusing on the Heat, but the Celtics. Like,
my thing is, in these close games, Marcus Smart and Horford are just killing the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus Smart is what he is at this point. He's going to make really good plays or he's going to make some bad, weird plays. So you kind of just take the good with the bad or the bad with the good. Horford, on the other hand, this is like, I don't want to say he's not unplayable because he is a good defender still and he can make plays, but his X factor since he's been a Celtic pretty much has been how good of a 3-point shooter he became.
Yeah.
And I think he's like 7 for like 50 for whatever last like 63s, whatever it is. I don't know what the exact stat is, but it's something terrible. It's below 10 makes for like over like 45 shots.
Attempts, yeah.
Here,
I don't remember the last time I saw him. Like, it was like I don't think he's made a 3 in this series. I think it was like game 6 maybe.
I have his threes. This is going from today's game going back. 0 of 3, 1 of 5. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
God.
0 of 3, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 0 of 2, 0 of 7, 2 of 7. That one game against the Sixers, he went 5 of 7. But before that, he was 1 of 8 and 1 of 4. So yeah, it's just a lot of goose eggs on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no explanation for that. It just doesn't make sense. And he was one of the best 3-point shooters in the league this year. I think he was
Mhm.
over 40%. Um,
47%. I mean,
yeah,
44%.
yeah, which is amazing in the NBA.
Mhm.
Um, and
Gotta
it's
get
just a complete drop off once the playoffs has
uh,
started, and they're open shots too. He doesn't take contested threes. He doesn't really have a shot to take a contested three, so he's taking open shots and they're just not going in, which is killing us.
is
Um,
I have a question. Is Jason Tatum afraid of easy mid-range shots? Because he split I think it was the last like 4 minutes. He split two defenders that were double teaming him. Then instead of taking, he could have just planted and then take an easy jump shot right there, like around the free throw line. He goes and tries to do some fancy shit through the defenders who slide in the paint. I was like, easy shots like that. I mean, he should be able. I thought he was mid-range heavy. He has that good stroke.
I mean, it's hard to be
He's
a
forcing
heavy mid-range scorer in the NBA nowadays. It's more so reliable in the playoffs and the regular season. But
just
I
the
don't
open
think
shot. That's all.
I
That's
know,
all.
but I mean,
The
for
open
the
shot.
most, I would have to watch the replays again because I don't know if I had the same. I don't know if I saw that the same thing you saw because I felt like he was making really good passes once he split the defenders and he made some good layups. But it just down the stretch in the fourth quarter again. I tweeted it.
It was mainly the fourth
Uh,
quarter. Right? It was the
well,
fourth.
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown had at one point had combined 3 points in the fourth quarter with like a few minutes left, and it was after Jimmy Butler already went on his run. They completely went away from the Jason Tatum, Rob Williams pick and roll action that killed the Heat for a stretch in the third quarter. Um, he just went a completely. The Heat run a zone like all game, and I know it's sometimes
That's
hard to
wild.
run pick and rolls against his zone, but the Celtics were doing it because Jason Tatum was making the open pass because he was still able to drive by the zone, and he was also uh, Rob Williams was getting like right around the free throw line, maybe a little bit closer to the basket, the sweet spot in the zone, and Tatum was finding him, and then he was either making the shot or Rob Williams was passing to somebody on the 3-point line for a shot, and then they subbed Rob Williams out at a certain point, and then he didn't go back. They started running with Al Horford, but Al Horford doesn't have the same hop in the middle of the court, but he can't pop either because he can't shoot right now. So the pick and roll was useless. And then Missoula went back to Rob Williams for like a possession. Like it was already too late when he went back to Rob Williams, and then he went to him for like one possession and then subbed him back out. It just quite. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up was just I like Missoula, and I'm trying to give him a pass because of the circumstances of the season, but it's an 82 game season, and now we're in the conference finals. You should be able to make adjustments, and it seems like his rotation is always questionable. It's easy to say it's easy to say it doesn't work when it doesn't work, and it works when it works. But more often than not, I think it's questionable. Like not, I mean, for the most part, when your team needs to just take a break, if there a run's happening on them, you take a timeout. It's like sometimes it is like too overdone when coaches like they're like, oh, that team's going on like a 6 point run. Let me just take a timeout. Sometimes it's not necessary, but if your team's showing nothing to stop it, and you just need to get them to reset, which these Celtics need that a lot. He doesn't take the timeout all the time, and then I can't remember what else I was gonna say.
I mean, I feel like the timeout point's great though. I mean, you really like those timeouts are there for a reason. They give them, you give what I can't remember the exact amount per game. What 10? Was it 10? Something I can't remember, whatever it is. It's a lot of timeouts.
Honestly, yeah, I honestly don't know. I just know it resets after every quarter.
Yeah, like you get plenty of timeouts to take. It depends on when you use them though, and if he's not using them, using them properly, that's on the coaching. It is what it is. If they need the reset, they need the reset. I mean, especially we were talking about it. I saw in the group chat. It's like the Heat right now are relying on Jimmy Butler mainly. Yeah, you got Bam. You got Martin shooting threes, but Jimmy Butler is the key to that team. You shut down Jimmy, what else is there when it comes to creating shots? At least, like
Well,
just
that's
pure
here.
shot creation.
This is another thing that drives me crazy about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I don't know. Maybe it's because I watch Celtics games way more than any other team, obviously. So I notice like their highs and their lows more than I do for other players. But like
Fair.
it always seems like other players on other teams can make contested drives consistently and like make like can just it just seems like a player like Jimmy Butler tonight he was really good at taking his time. He doesn't like move that fast and he just gets to the rim and he can make an easy layup or you were mentioning his mid-range shot. Those kind
His,
of shots, it's nothing Jason Tatum can't do, but it just doesn't happen. And I think that's sometimes coaching.
Mhm.
Like
You gotta
Missoula
set your
has a
players
very
up.
specific offense and he wants to get up as many threes as possible in a very specific way. Not pick and rolls, but he wants to have a pick set. The guy drive off the switch or whatever, try to get to the lane, take the layup or dish it out to the open guy. That guy either takes the three or he drives again and then finds somebody else for a better open look.
Yeah,
And it's
pretty
just
basic strategy.
that's what they do all game. That's what they've done all year. And when it doesn't work, it's very frustrating to watch and it's very annoying to watch because it just to me lacks creativity with the skill sets we have on the team.
Yeah, I think again, I haven't watched a ton of Celtics game. I've watched the playoffs and I watched a couple throughout the regular season. Celtics, I mean, Jaylen Brown, I think, in my opinion, had a little bit of off year, but in Brown and Tatum, you do have two of the better
Who?
Brown.
He had a good year.
I feel like it was a little like I feel like it wasn't as good as his last two.
Well, statistically speaking, it was.
Well, I was just saying my eyeball test.
Your eyeball test.
But in Tatum and Brown, you have two of the
Glasses, boy.
more dynamic young wings in the league. And over an 82 game season, just running them two with a solid defense, you're going to win a lot of games. Obviously, they were the 2 seed, but in the condensed playoffs, I just feel like this offense, like they're just I feel like the players don't like this offense doesn't like utilize the players that great. Like you were saying, it's the drive, kick out three, but who are they kicking out to? Like Horford's not shooting well. Marcus Smart's not really shooting well this year. Grant Williams isn't.
I mean, they have shooters. I mean, Brogdon shoots well.
Wait,
Derek White shot really well
yeah,
this year.
yeah. He was also he was a lead. He was the leader of the threes last playoff run.
Horford shot well
Derek White
up until the postseason. And Marcus, we were talking about streaky shooters earlier, Taylor. Marcus Smart's a streaky shooter. He's not that would actually go against my argument earlier. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but when he does hit them, he hits them. When he doesn't, he doesn't.
They're wet. All net.
Like I feel like I haven't seen that from Marcus Smart.
Your argument is valid for the postseason.
Yeah.
I would argue it against in the regular season because I felt like they shot really well, especially earlier in the regular season. They were like the best team in the league by far because the offense they were running, they were hitting they were scoring at like a historical rate, I think. And
my thing is just like when the threes aren't falling and like every game matters, especially these close games when you get to the fourth quarter and you brick a couple threes in a row and then all of a sudden your lead of 8 is cut to 2, or your 2-point deficit is all of a sudden a 10-point deficit. Like I feel like besides like when they're like out and running, I don't see a lot of easy buckets.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time their only easy buckets is where they run their offense well, which is dribble drive, pass out to an open 3-point shooter, or they get an open look at the rim for a layup or a dunk or something. Which I think for a player like Tatum, he's really good at. I mean, he modeled his game off of Kobe Bryant. He says
Mhm.
it all the time. I'm
You
pretty
can
sure he
see it though,
trained
how
with Kobe
especially how he
Bryant.
shoots. You can really like see it.
Yeah, I mean, he can shoot that, that old school post up, low post fadeaway, but they never
So
run
Jimmy
and
was doing all
like,
night.
yeah, exactly what they were doing with Jimmy Butler when he was. I mean, he may have just been calling for it himself, but I'm sure Spoelstra was
He was
calling
trying to
for
get
it
to that
too.
spot. His goal was to get to that spot every time if he could. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think he only
sure
missed the
Spoelstra.
last like 3 shots that he went to when I was
Yeah, I'm sure Spoelstra was pointing to them for them to run that too, and the Celtics just never do that with Jason Tatum. Like usually, it's at the end of the shot clock, and it's like nothing's working. They'll do, Jason Tatum will back somebody down and go to that shot. That's not a very that's not an efficient offense to run. But when the going's tough at the end of a game and you need buckets, you got to go to your guys and do what they can do. You don't just stick to the
the game plan.
stupid dribble drive trying to get that 3-point. Like I know Missoula wants to get as many threes as possible. That's just what he wants to do. But when there's 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you don't have that much time to keep shooting up threes when it's a 2-point game. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just need the trusty old
Just take the 2.
reliable player to take the 2-point shot and make it. Yeah, just a very annoying game.
If I was a true diehard Celtics fan, I would have been beyond frustrated with the you got to adjust too at some point. The readjustment, the execution, all of it, all around. Just like with what last in game 1, defense really wasn't there where it mattered in the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. Everybody disappeared. I feel like
Yeah,
you can't just rely on. I mean, yeah, the stars are the stars, but I feel like a lot of it still comes to coaching. Like the point you were making before.
And if you look at the game stats, like the biggest thing, uh, turnovers, and then the Heat are just getting more boards and they're just putting up more buckets. They
And
had 92 shot
offensive.
attempts to the Celtics 79. Both teams basically shot the same field goal percentage, and the Heat were a little bit better from three. But it's just getting opportunities.
yeah. It's just frustrating.
Also, I don't think it'll happen. I just if the Heat do advance, I don't see them beating the Nuggets. But if they were to, Jimmy Butler, like for me, since I really got into basketball, Dirk's championship run I think is one of the most impressive runs I've seen. If Jimmy Butler is able to carry this Heat team to a championship, you got to put him up there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but if
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Nuggets Heat, which it's 2-0 in both series,
exactly.
Jimmy Butler will have to go off, and Bam will have to play really well too, which I just don't see. Like
Especially against Joker.
the Joker will dominate him. I
We
think.
had 16 rebounds in the first half of game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw.
Well,
I
do we
mean,
want to?
AD showed up too points wise. He didn't have nearly as many rebounds for a transition over. But I would
Yeah,
like to
let's
say
say do
one
we
more
want to pivot
thing.
over to the Nuggets
One last
Yeah, I'm
series?
done
comment
talking about the Celtics.
was I was going to text you guys earlier, but hey, Trevor, because originally it was the Heat plus 1,500 to win the finals, like before game 1. I want to be like, yeah. So if I put some money down on the Heat to win the finals, is this tries eliminated? Because
Well, I
it's
mean,
just a nice bet.
if you did it, it's definitely not that anymore.
No, it was plus 800 after the for game 1 win, so it's already dropped immensely.
It was plus 800 before the game
No,
one win.
it was. I thought it was plus 1,500 for this going into the Eastern Conference Finals for the Heat to
For the
win
Celtics to win, for the Heat to win
the finals.
The finals.
Like to
Oh, I
make it
thought
all
you
the
were
way
talking
through.
about.
No, it was plus 1,500 just to make it to the finals and win. Like, yeah, obviously including beating the Celtics in the process. But now
Alright.
to win the finals, it went from 1,500 plus 1,500 to plus 800 just after the game one win.
Gambling doesn't matter when it comes to who you root for.
No, I still would have rooted for the Celtics even. I had money on the line.
You gotta hedge your emotions.
Should have seen me earlier at the bar. Only Celtics fan. Technically, I'm not even a Celtics fan. The only one rooting for the Celtics. It's all Heat fans around here, apparently.
Listen, I lost all my bets tonight. I've been doing more gambling since the NBA playoffs started, and pretty sure Jaylen Brown screwed me out of all of them. Let's see.
Motherfucker.
Jaylen Brown, I needed 3.5 assists, over 3.5 assists to hit this parlay. He had 3. This one, my big one, I needed him to make 3 threes and to score 30 points. He obviously didn't do either of those.
Nope.
So just a big old pooper. But yeah, I'm done with the Celtics until Sunday if they win.
Fair.
If they get swept by the Heat, you got to make changes.
Big time.
Yeah.
Get Brad Stevens back on the court.
Yeah.
Get Brad back. Well, if we look at the Nuggets Lakers series, Nuggets also are up 2-0 now on the Lakers. Jokic is just putting on a show, back-to-back triple doubles. Game 2, he dropped 23, 17, and 12 assists. I think he's showing that he is maybe the best player in all of basketball, and he should have gotten the MVP this year. It's just that voter fatigue setting in.
I think that's all it comes down to. It's pretty simple. Again, I think Embiid missed at least 15 games this year again. Like I just don't I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it because obviously we're not allowed to vote, and if I'm that fatigued over voting for the best player again 3 years in a row because it's like what kind of fucking fatigue is that? It just makes no sense.
I mean, that's always been a thing. LeBron James,
I get it, but
Michael Jordan.
It is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to push that shit to the side and you give it to the best player, the most valuable player in the league.
I mean, I wouldn't hold it against Embiid for missing 16 games because, I mean, 66 games isn't that abnormal in today's NBA with guys taking a rest.
It's just the overall, I think, accumulation of missed games, and just Joker just doesn't miss games, and he does this. He does.
I mean, he played 69
playoffs.
games. He only played 3 more than Embiid
this year, so that's where I get it. But in general, and then the playoff play, I feel like is the biggest thing. Embiid is the MVP, but he couldn't get his team past the second round again.
That's the argument. Some people say should it count after the playoffs, but then it's not the regular season MVP.
Yeah, and then we're talking about Al Horford with his shooting problems, but guess who shut Embiid down? Al Horford. Like it's just I just feel like Joker got robbed. He should have got the triple crown of MVPs, and
I've always had issues with the league's MVP voting because everyone threw a fit when Steve Nash won his, but it's just like the voting criteria for the NBA is all over the place. Steve Nash, I get the argument because he basically was just the entire Suns offense, but then you go to the year James Harden won MVP, you could make a valid argument that LeBron James was the best player in the league that year, but James Harden had basically been robbed. You could argue 3 years prior to that. So you knew the league was going to finally give one to James Harden. The year
Russell Westbrook give them their flowers because they have to, though.
Yeah, the year Russell Westbrook won it because he averaged a triple double. James Harden was on the number 2 team, put up I think more points and more assists, and he averaged 9 boards a game. So it's like just because Westbrook averaged one more board a game, he got his triple double
with
for the
padding
year.
stats too, we could definitely say
Yeah.
he's stat
And then
padding.
of course the Rockets like destroyed the Thunder in that first round that year, I think. Then there
I
was
mean,
like good.
I was just gonna say between Joker and Embiid, I mean, they both played similar amount of games. The Nuggets were 53 and 29, 76ers were 54 and 28. The only difference really is um Jokic scored his stats are 24, 11, and 9, well, almost 10 assists. And then Embiid was 33, 10, and 4. So Embiid averaged almost 10 more points a game. They averaged the same amount of rebounds, and then Jokic averaged like 6 more assists. So, I
So
mean,
that's 12 more points he's generating at
Exactly, you're
least.
still generating points. Exactly.
yeah, but Joel Embiid scored 10, averaged 10 more points per game.
Was it
But the
10?
33, Joel Embiid averaged 33 points a game, and Jokic only averaged 24.
Yeah, but then you talk about the 6 more assists equals to 12 more points total to the scoreboard. To the 10 points he's not
Yeah, but
scoring,
so
but
that's
6 more
still
total assists. You're saying he averaged more assists than Embiid did by 6, right?
yeah, but Embiid scored he had 6 more assists is 12 points. So that means Jokic, if you want to say if you want to do it that way, Jokic averaged 2 more points a game than Embiid, if that's how
That's
you
More
want to put it.
points.
2 more
But
points. I think that's the point he was trying to make. West Side
I
was
don't
that's
know.
what
I don't think you can argue.
I was
I
on the same
mean,
side.
you you can look at it however you want. Jokic probably has more of an impact on his team because he's a passer, facilitator. He's pretty much a point guard at center. Um, and then Embiid is just a dominant like post force that honestly is really hard to stop unless you're Al Horford. And I mean, averaging 33 points a game as a center in nowadays NBA, when you're only taking, what is he taking? He takes three. He makes 1 3-pointer a game, which is nothing. Um, I don't know. I don't have a problem with Embiid winning it. But
No,
also, if Jokic won it, I wouldn't have argued that either. I'm just saying I don't think it's like that bad that Embiid won
no.
it.
But if like the
Well,
only
And I
reason
speaking
it
still
was
of
like
because they
Embiid.
were just tired of voting for the same person 3 years in a row, then it's just stupid. Like I mean, the Beat could have won
well,
it last year too, technically, and the year before that. But
speaking of Jokic greatness, he needs one more triple double this playoff run to set the record for most triple doubles in a single playoff run. Currently, that's held by Wilt Chamberlain.
you want to talk about MVP? They do it in the playoffs too.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at last year's stats, you could argue that Embiid should have won it over Jokic. So
Yeah, the actual stats, yes, 100%. But then again, you go off the games he played. And that's where the injuries come into play.
it was
I think
68 to 74.
still
It's not that bad. That's only
no,
6 games.
yeah.
Now the first time he won MVP, you
That's
could
when
argue that,
Embiid missed a lot of time. That
and
it was 3 years ago
he
though.
missed.
But
And
was it?
yeah, in
Yeah,
2020, 2021, Embiid missed
yeah,
30 games.
yeah,
Jokic only missed 10.
yeah. I mean, I get it though. When you actually like look at, it's hard to like sit there and actually remember the amount. But it's only 7 games, whatever it is. It is what it is. But I think that's why the playoff point really does matter. But again, it's not the regular. It's the regular season MVP. It's not the playoff MVP. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, either way, they're
Well,
both great players.
yep,
well
dominant
getting
player. I don't
back,
know that they're dominant.
I also hate
I
Embiid. I also hate Embiid. So thanks a lot for making me argue for him.
getting
That's what we're
back
here
to the
for.
series, me and Trevor talked a little bit earlier today. I honestly won't be surprised if the Nuggets sweep. I definitely think it'll be minimum a gentleman's sweep, but I think they might sweep. LeBron and Davis, they look tired.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers can't shoot threes outside of Austin Reeves.
Also Reeves, yeah, and that's the only one he's on.
And well, Austin Reeves, the last 2 games, he's 5 of 5 for 9 from three, both games. So
Yeah,
if you
that's what he's
take
on.
away his 3-point shooting, the Lakers like have like no 3-point shooting.
We could give some
They
credit
only
to
made
Rui Hachimura
they
too.
only made 8 threes in game 2. And the Lakers had their chance to steal one in game 2, but Jamal Murray just went nuclear in the fourth quarter.
I said it before, I'll say it again. We haven't really talked about basketball on the podcast itself, but we've talked about this. That 2020-2021 Denver Nuggets team, right before Jamal Murray got hurt near the end of the season, was primed to win the championship. I've said this.
Yeah, I mean
I stay on this.
they've
Jamal Murray
been
finally comes back. He's back in his groove. He's doing his thing. He actually did say, I think he was quoted yesterday or today saying, people need to stop sleeping on me. I don't know who actually is or not, but if they are, then they definitely need to stop.
I hate when people say that.
I'd
You've been
agree.
injured. You've been injured for 3 years.
Yes, I agree. He
You
did
were
literally
sleeping.
miss
You weren't on the
pretty much
court.
2 full seasons. But he's back. He came back last year, kind of got back in, he's getting back in the groove. He had a full season this year. He should be playing around the same level he was. It was only 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2020-21 season.
Yeah, I mean he's a great player, so I don't know who he's.
I don't like that shit either. But I mean, maybe he's just saying stuff in the media, which you, as a professional, again, you gotta tuck to the side and just ignore it. Go out there, play your game.
Yeah, I mean, if you just, it's even more than him. They've dealt with more injuries than that the last couple of years. So I mean, they're just
Porter
healthy
Jr.
this year.
It's nice. Porter Jr. is a specimen. Stretch forward type. He's gained some muscle mass after the back injury and all that. But still, he has a dagger from 3 if he needs to, though.
Who?
Michael Porter Jr.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard to envision. I mean, Taylor, you're calling the sweep. The Lakers' defense was really good in the playoffs leading up to this series, and I mean, the Nuggets have pretty much steamrolled everybody the first 2 rounds.
I think the one thing the Lakers have over the Celtics, though, with this 2-0 deficit is that they are going back to their home now. They lost 2 in Denver, but now they're going back home, which obviously we all know home momentum in a playoff game for basketball. Obviously, every sport, but in basketball, I feel like that home momentum really can fuel you just to win that one game you need, just that one. And then the next game, that's fair, right back to a 2-1. You're still at home.
Yeah, in these playoffs, I think the Heat, Lakers, and Nuggets are undefeated at home, and the Celtics are now. I think the Celtics are 4-5 after tonight.
Because of the 2 in a row, yeah.
Pathetic.
Especially in game 1 where, I mean, you see the level of play between Taylor put it out in the group chat the other day, pointing out how Jimmy is the only, he's like the main piece of the offense for the Heat. You see the overall level of play from the Celtics as a team in the first 3 quarters for the game 1 at least, and then it's just like you said, what's going on? I guess the coaching is and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. It can't be all. I mean, they are the stars, but the turnover, I don't know. It's a confussle.
Yeah.
It is. The turnovers.
The thing
walks.
about the Nuggets going back to LA though, I was watching. I don't watch that many Nuggets games, but watching them in this playoffs, the crowd is mediocre compared to other crowds I've seen. So maybe playing at home with a mediocre crowd when they go away, it doesn't really affect them.
Fair enough.
To not hear
all you have is Peyton Manning on the sideline saying Omaha.
What?
Omaha.
You just have Peyton. The only high. You know how you go to an LA game, all the stars show up, and they Facebook and ESPN on Facebook and Instagram, they highlight. Oh, look at all the stars that show up. At the end of the Nuggets Lakers game, all it does is it just zooms in on Peyton Manning as the Lakers are walking, like LeBron walks off, and Peyton Manning's just and he just fist bumps somebody and just standing there, ain't no hype or nothing, just Omaha.
Oh.
That's all you got is Peyton Manning. That's the highlight of your your Denver.
Was he
crowd.
Really there?
Yeah, he was there.
That's funny. I missed that. I forgot that he was I forgot that he was a Bronco.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of us know him though as a Colt. Where his heyday lied. He did win a Super Bowl with Denver, but I feel like Peyton Manning is known as a Colt more than anything. I guess he rides those Bronco country steeds.
Yeah, he was successful enough with the Broncos.
He won a Super Bowl. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, 100%.
They're the best quarterback season in NFL history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With no arm strength and pure duckage, but he just knows where to throw it. He knows where to put it. He knew where. He's a genius. Is what it is.
Which one of you were in our group chat was talking about LeBron earlier, saying like talking about his theatrics?
It had to
That
be
was
Trevor.
me.
It definitely wasn't me. You guys know.
I sent an Instagram.
Trevor said
I
in the
sent it.
chat. He said in the podcast intro, we're gonna get, or before we talked, he's like, we're gonna talk about LeBron, his theatrics. Literally, the key word was theatrics.
Yeah, if you check your Instagrams too, I also said it in there earlier.
My Instagram messages are so
I sent you guys the highlight, and I said, "There goes LeBron again."
but remember, he doesn't flop. And as a LeBron fan, that was just funny.
Well,
Come on now.
Are you getting that to play, Taylor?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
oh god,
did you see it?
He threw himself on the ground.
Yeah, he got like poked and he got like rubbed near the eye by Jokic, and he totally like he flopped for sure, and then he threw himself back further to like slide into the crowd, and then some fan there spilled the drink on top of him and then gave him a towel to clean himself off, and then LeBron kind of smiled and said thank you, and then he went right back to like the to his eye.
Yeah,
I'm like, what
you would
is
think
this
you would
joke?
think he tore his ACL or something. You know what?
This is nothing new. This has been going on for 12 years.
Yeah, but remember, he's
At
never
work,
been a
we've
part of a
had-
flop team. And like I said, I'm a LeBron fan. It is what it is.
Biggest
That's just
flopper of all time.
He's
at
definitely
work,
one of them.
Twice recently at work, we've gotten into the whole MJ LeBron debate, and I'll be like, just go on YouTube and look up LeBron James flop, and then tell me Jordan would ever do that.
It's not even that LeBron James flops. So there's like in the NBA, you have Marcus Smart floppers. They take charges and they exaggerate falls to get penalties.
Yes.
Offensive penalties on the other opposing team. Then you have LeBron James flops. He thinks he's on a soccer field and it's for theatrics. He flails and then he rolls around in pain. If we played basketball with LeBron James and
who would
one
be
of
on
us
the ground longer? You
touched
or
his
LeBron?
Oh, exactly. It would be LeBron.
And that's what's funny, because like you're a big motherfucker. He's a big motherfucker too, obviously. But like it's a bigger
But
you
he's
are,
more
harder your fall
athletic.
thick. Exactly. It's like, but like when you go down, like it's a hard hit. Obviously, you're fucking 6'6". That's why it's even funnier though, because this man's gonna just keep.
Yeah, I mean he.
Was it?
It happens all the time in the NBA, and you can tell like when players
That's
get
why I
hurt.
say just own it.
And
Just
then,
fucking own it. If you're gonna do it, then own it.
They
Like,
act like they're. It happens all the time. They act like they're really hurt, and then they get back on offense and they drain a three. They're fine during the play, but then they're like kind of act injured a little bit still, and then they like do a little bit of a limp, and then they're like, well, let it die down a little bit, and that's just a little. It's a LeBron special. It should be called that.
Was it last
The
year
LJ
or
special.
2 years ago that I think LeBron like was going for like a fast break and someone like they did I don't even want to say hack. Someone like kind of like, roughed him up on the layup and he fell and was rolling on the ground and then a fight broke out. And then you saw the camera turn from LeBron rolled around the ground to the fight, and LeBron like got up, he was fine, ran to break up the fight, and then like literally it was like looked for the camera and then fell back, on the ground again, around like spazzing, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure when he was rolling around the first time, you see him like going like this, like looking for the camera to make sure it's still on him.
I'm pretty sure he said he wanted to go to LA. Well, it was reported that he wanted to go to LA because there's more,
acting.
money
Or the
opportunities
Celtics,
there.
The Celtics game when he tried to go for the game winner and Tatum like kind of fouled him and then he went ballistic on the sideline.
Was that against the Celtics when he went freaked out?
Yeah, earlier this season when it was a tie game and he was gonna
Yeah.
He was going for a layup and Tatum like jumped over his back and like blocked him, but like kind of like jumped on it, like pushed his shoulder down, and he like had a complete meltdown. Was on his knees, going,
so funny.
Tropic Thunder.
Funny.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that now vividly. It was so funny. Like what a bum. Listen, I respect LeBron James. Obviously,
as a basketball fan,
one of the best players of all time. Not number one of the best. Probably number two. Number two at best. I'll leave it at that. I didn't say it was Jordan. Just kidding, obviously. Um, I think I've earned the right to like hate LeBron. I've been through many, psychological battles with him as a Celtics fan over the last 15 years.
When it comes either
And he
Cavaliers or
left
Lakers, I mean,
technically you could say the Celtics beat him earlier in his career, and I was able to witness that.
young
Like,
LeBron,
pretty much, sent him to Miami, caused him to leave
the Anderson
Cleveland.
Varejao days.
Yeah, but him never after the Heat, after he went to the Heat, the Celtics never beat him, and then he left and went to the West. So I wanted double revenge
The
this year.
revenge.
I wanted Celtics Lakers. I wanted 2010 Finals revenge. That Game 7 will haunt me for the rest of my life against the Lakers. And then I wanted Game 7 LeBron revenge in 2012 against the Heat when we were up 3-2 and LeBron had it was 2012 because
Yeah.
it was the year they went to the finals.
Mhm.
LeBron had the 40-point game in Game 6. I wanted a revenge for that, and then I wanted revenge
What
for
about the Cavs game?
Jason Tatum rookie year. No Kyrie, Terry Rozier year is a great playoff run. We got the Game 7 against LeBron and the Cavaliers. Another series where we were up 3-2. We lost that series. I wanted a revenge for that.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
it's looking like it's not going to happen.
there was a few storylines you could go off with the way the playoffs ended up with the conference finals. You had the bubble repeat. Everybody was like, "Oh, the bubble's fake."
Listen,
Yada yada doesn't count. So that's a nice storyline too. You get the rematch with the Heat and the Lakers from the bubble. Cool. I was going back to the same thing. The 2010 Lakers Celtics rivalry. It was when Paul Pierce, KG, Ray Allen was going against Kobe. You had fucking Bynum. You still had Gasol. It was a great fucking series. Well, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. He's still Kobe Bryant. Um, but yeah, that's what I was looking at. It was the and you guys also did you guys win against the Lakers back then as well?
in 2008, we beat the
8, yeah, it was 8.
Lakers
So it was
in
2 years before.
6, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
2009, Kevin Garnett was injured, so he didn't make it back. That was
That's
the
when I
year
found out
Dwight
Chad
Howard
was
took
a
the
fucking
Magic.
Celtics fan too. I had no idea. And then it
Yeah.
was the rooting. It was the simultaneous rooting of beating the Lakers in the final. I was like, what? How many
Well,
Celtics
if we
fans live
watch,
in goddamn Crownsville, Maryland?
if he ever catches this part of the episode, he is a bandwagon because he's no longer a Celtics fan.
Ooh,
But
I didn't know he wasn't a Celtics fan no more.
he was done being a Celtics fan after the Big Three left.
Hmm.
So
Those
I
damn
mean,
Baltimore boys.
maybe you can give him a break because it was like 10 years ago. But I mean, he missed out on some good stuff. Never abandoned ship. That's what I say. I don't know what was worse though.
Never
The
forget.
Game 7 loss against the Lakers in the finals or the Eagles loss. Those were in the Super Bowl. Those are tough losses.
One of my hardest losses was off topic, but still basketball. That Rockets Warriors
Clippers?
game
Oh, Warriors.
7.
Oh, dude.
That was a heartbreaking series.
I know we talk about refs all the time.
Who
but I
farted?
swear to God.
Chris Paul going down.
I heard it.
What?
I heard a cheek clapper.
I'd own that shit.
I heard.
Was it
I'm
yourself?
proud of my farts.
No, I think something fell.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Chris Paul went down, and then the Rockets missed 21 or whatever straight threes, and
Dude, I'm telling you, that was the one. I know we all, we bitch about the refs in every sport, but like legit, I really do think the refs were out, for the Rockets that series, and they were totally going for the Warriors. Just the amount of horrible and missed call, like there was barely any contact on any play, and yet they're getting the free throw line every time, no matter what. It was ridiculous. And this is like still the up and coming of Steph Curry. Like this is when I think Monta Ellis had only been gone for a couple years. Like this is still like Steph's on the rise. Like he had started becoming the most prolific shooter, but it's only because of the amount of threes he was probably shooting. And they were still.
What are we talking? You talking about the Rockets series?
Rockets Warriors, yeah. It was.
Yeah, I mean the bad one against the Rockets Warriors, the one Taylor's referencing, isn't that the Kevin Durant year?
I was thinking back in my Turtle days, like 2015.
Didn't the Rockets have a tough series against Kevin Durant? Didn't they almost beat?
Maybe KD might have been there.
When the Game 7.
Yeah, it was with Kevin Durant there, right?
Yeah, we watched Game 7 at Langway's when We watched. I think we watched all the games.
That was a good year of playoff basketball. Watching Celtics and
Yeah.
Rockets, and Caps. That was the year the Caps won the.
That was 17-18. Yeah.
Yeah, won the Stanley Cup.
So I was thinking back like 15-16, I think.
Hang on, let me check real quick.
And that was a good year though for DC sports.
Okay,
fans,
yeah.
Because we never
2000,
I was gonna say
2017-18, the Rockets were 65-17, lost to the Golden State Warriors 3-4. That was the year. Yep, that was
Same
Kevin
year.
Durant's first year. So yeah, they almost beat that heavy hitting team. That was Kevin Durant's first year with them too.
And we talk about like fucking all-time rosters. That's definitely an all-time roster right there. You add KD to an already competitive, like to a team that been to the championship the year before.
They broke the record the year before for the wins.
That was the wins. Yeah, that was their ultimate passing season too, which is you gotta respect fundamental basketball when it's they execute.
That was also the second time we were this close to a Celtics Rockets finals because the Celtics lost Game 7 to Cleveland that year that you guys lost, and then back in 2010 the Rockets lost to the Lakers in the Western
Andrew
Conference
Bynum
Finals.
broke Yao Ming's foot.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, dude, for a big man, I think Yao Ming is the epitome of like I just jump a little bit and I land.
Andrew
and it
Bynum
hurts really bad on every part.
Everyone
of my
talks
ankle.
about
Jesus Christ.
Everyone talks about Kobe, Fisher, Ron Artest had a little good run with them. Pau Gasol had a good run
with the Lakers,
but Andrew Bynum took out Yao Ming. Andrew Bynum took out Yao Ming one year that they won it, and then he took out Kendrick Perkins the other year.
That was the same year.
Won. Okay, the same playoff run.
He took out Yao Ming in the
accidentally
conference
took out Yao Ming and then took out Andrew Bynum in the finals.
No, Andrew Bynum took out Kendrick Perkins.
Oh yes.
Yeah. God, I remember when
Kendrick Perkins didn't play Game 7, and we got the Rasheed Wallace.
I remember when it was Perk, Big Baby,
Wallace's.
And Wallace's.
Oh God,
Big Baby Davis.
Big Baby got knocked out.
Glenn
in the
Davis
Magic game was just skipping all over the field. Doc Rivers just screaming at him.
Court.
Like, yeah.
Well, Doc Rivers was like, "Oh my God, get up, go!" And Big Baby was like,
"My head
on the ground, like holding his head up." And then he got up, and then he almost fell. And then that old bald ref, I can't remember his name, came up and held him up. And Big Baby was like.
Literally, his face already looks like he's he's about to like burp up something.
I'll never forget Big Baby Davis's game-winning shot against the Orlando Magic in 2009. I remember I was watching it in the living room. All the lights were off. Taylor, you were in bed, and he hit it, and I was like, "Yeah!" I don't know if you woke up or not, but it was great.
Casualty of war at that point.
That it was the old couch, the one RJ kamikazed. The black couch.
Did I kamikaze or did one of y'all throw me into it aggressively? I think I just plopped on it, but still. Either way.
I always remember that Ray Allen buzzer beater against the Ben Gordon Bulls in like 2009 or whatever it was.
Oh, the Chicago Celtics series was great. Yeah. It's like 20 overtimes that series.
That was a good series.
Which we lost to the Magic the next round, so.
Yeah, that was for the Magic. Didn't
Dwight Howard led Magic?
No,
yes.
Well, yeah, led Magic, but
Hedo Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson.
Turkoglu, oh my God, Turkoglu. What about Gallinari? Was that different? Was Gallinari?
Gallinari's on the Celtics right now.
Yeah, but when was the last time he saw exactly? Dude, same thing with the Knicks and their bench this year. They Gallinari just completely gave up on the vets that were like some pretty key vets. I feel like you added a couple minutes, they could change your game.
Yeah. Gallinari's played well the last couple of years.
What about Kevin Love?
Very unfortunate
with the Heat
that he got injured.
Kevin Love is having a great run with the Heat. Unfortunately, I know, I get it.
0 points today. He's a liability on defense.
But he's facilitating more as well.
Oh, he's got those long passes.
Dude, he's got those. Dude, every time he gets a rebound, he is literally looking and he's using two hands as hard as he can. And I swear to God, he almost knocked his own player out. Luckily, he put his hands up like this.
I had a parlay with him tonight too to have under 4 rebounds. He had 3 right before. Yeah, he had 3 in the half, and then he had like a 4th rebound, and then he had one more rebound right before a timeout, and then he got subbed out for the rest of the game. Screw you.
I just like how he's playing. He's still playing. He's got his grades and everything.
Yeah.
But the same
one of
token,
those
I think
guys.
Udonis Haslem, thank God it's finally his last year. I've never ever seen a player that his key role is just to talk shit. Like at least Draymond actually gets physical and plays some minutes. Like this man fucking just sits on the bench and talks shit across the other side of the bench for the last 10 years. Like I remember when UD was
I feel
still
like he's
like
been
he was
40
old
for
but
like
young when
8
LeBron and
years.
like I remember when the Heat had their run with LeBron, Wade, Bosh, and
Haslam,
UD was like a role player, but he was
I remember Haslam being a good role player when the Celtics beat the Heat before LeBron James got there. Taylor, you remember that series?
The year that Dwayne Wade was averaging like 40 points and getting blown out every game.
Well, we were gonna sweep. We got them with a gentleman's sweep, I think. But
Yeah.
in
I
game
felt
4,
so
Dwayne
bad.
Wade hit like 7 threes.
I feel like that had LeBron not gone to Miami, that series would have destroyed Dwayne Wade. Like he was putting his heart and soul into that series, and the
just
Celtics
to
were
lose
still just
anyway.
mugging
Yeah.
him.
I mean,
That was that was Paul Pierce had that game winner. We were somewhere with our dad in a hotel room watching that game. That's
good
one of my
memory.
more memorable
I'm gonna say
series.
it's a good memory.
I got
Yeah.
Celtics basketball game, like with football games. There's only so many games a year, and it's once a week. So I don't know. I feel like I'm always home, and it's during the winter. For basketball, it's
It's on
game
Sunday
every
most
other
of the time.
day.
Exactly. It could be a weekday. It could be a.
It's hard to make plans for the games rather than you have to fit the games into your schedule. So there's many games I have where we're gone
But
somewhere.
that's why I love playoff basketball the most. Is because
What
no matter
the
what,
games?
every day there are games on. If you just happen to look at a TV, you'll be able to watch some basketball, and they're usually a team that they're good teams that you want to see play.
I feel ashamed to admit this, but for Game 7 in 2010, we were a Lake Kiwi, no cell
Go Lake
service
Kiwi.
barely, and I'm watching the game log on my phone. We had no cable TV, and then our neighbor let us in and watched the last half on the TV that was this big.
Dude,
So I'm
props to
sitting
your
there
neighbor.
I'm sitting in a saucer chair watching this game on the TV this big, and it sucked.
So it was a microwave with a screen.
It was
Pretty
it was
much.
tiny. It was a small TV. It was like a football.
Yeah, just the
And I
antenna
just
on
sat.
every.
I remember.
every 2
I remember
minutes.
when we lost that game. I just sat there and I just smiled. I was just like, I didn't know what to do. Taylor's probably like, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah, let's say
He walked
the psycho
outside to the
smile.
moonlight and went, bah!
I've endured many losses in my life.
At least you're not a Washington Commanders fan.
Yeah, I don't know. We could have this argument all day. What's worse?
Yeah, I was gonna make a point though. At least you're not a full Philly sports fan because you guys, as a Philly nation, had a pretty rough year last year. When it comes down to the baseball World Series, you had even the soccer team, which nobody. I mean, I'm
Phillies,
not a big MLS guy.
76ers.
The soccer
Yeah,
team was,
soccer.
but
I've heard
also they
about that.
lost it the same day, I think, or what? I
Yep.
can't remember what it was. Like, yeah, so it's pretty tough year to be a overall Philly fan last year when you get that close to the cusp. And
Sometimes I hate not being a fan of like the hometown team or like because then I feel some
camaraderie.
I said
at
it a
least.
lot in the 76ers series. Like I feel conflicted because the 76ers fans in there are the same fans I root for on Sundays for the Eagles. But I'm like, I was yelling at here. I was like, these idiots only know football. They don't know basketball.
They're different. Yeah, I mean, I swear.
It would have been. Remember when we were golfing and that guy had the Eagles hat, and you were like,
You're talking
"Go
about the beat
Birds."
writers too, which is
It would have been. It would have been hilarious if after you were like, "Go Birds," when he saw his hat, and he turned around, he's wearing a Sixers polo, and you're like, "Go to hell!"
literally like instantly. I love you, but I hate you so much.
That would be funny. Well, I also follow all the Eagles beat writers on Twitter, and I like some of them what they have to say. And they
But
were
not
just
about basketball.
they
That's
were
what I'm saying. It's the
talking
beat
about
writers. Yeah.
they were idiots. I almost unfollowed them. I'm like, you guys don't know basketball to save your lives. I wanted to tweet back. One of them I did tweet at. I was like, you idiot. I didn't say that, but I just told him his
In your head.
his whatever he said was completely wrong, and I just tweeted at him. But I was like, I'll catch you in August.
Football season, yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
That would have been funny
y'all?
if that guy turned
Or
around
if
and
you
hit a
remember-
76. Go to hell.
Eat
You
shit.
were literally from
It
the
was
word,
funny
like,
though
Go
because
Birds, but eat shit.
it was funny though because I saw the guy in the Eagles hat, and I don't really do that. I don't really like if I see a person in the Eagles stuff, I think about it in my head. I'm like, but I don't really say
Oh,
anything.
you drive a Jeep too?
Yeah. And but he turned around, he had the Eagles hat on. I was like, we were sitting there, they hadn't swung yet, so I was like, yeah, go Birds or whatever, go Eagles, and he said go Birds. I didn't even realize that the guy next to him in the cart had a 49ers golf bag.
You're right.
And then
he did.
he lifted up his towel and he pointed at that, and I was like, your wounds will heal over time.
I
Pretty
mean,
funny.
time does heal all, I guess.
I said something about Deebo Samuel too. I can't
Throwing
remember.
salt. You're just salt.
Yeah.
Poor Philly fans.
Yeah. Well, anything else y'all wanted to talk about?
Did we
No, I'm just gonna
cover some bases on the your conference finals?
It's gonna wallow until game 3.
Luckily, it's only a day break. That's why I love playoff basketball and hockey too. You gotta give them some credit. The fact NFL, we talked about it. You have a week break in between every game, which I get is more physically demanding, but it is nice to have a game on every other day that or at least probably every day. Technically, you can still watch one game. You get down to the level of the conference finals and all that. Pure entertainment.
I love NBA playoffs to be able to. There's a game Wednesday night. There's a game tonight. I get to watch Celtics all the time.
In the
It's
beginning,
a commitment.
You get play in. You get the 3 games a night. You get 3 games a night past that.
I've been
doing. I have nice. A day, 3 games a day. Weekends you have 1 game.
After you, Taylor, I have a parting thought.
I've been doing O's game up until basketball starts, and then I'll watch the playoff game.
Yeah,
because you're still you're holding on to the cable. I might have. I can't go back to it, but I miss having Masson.
I mean, I could actually give you my cable log on so you can watch from your computer, you can watch your phone, or your iPad.
Yeah. Masson?
No, just my cable. You just have access to my cable.
You can use it on any device. ESPN, TNT, as long as you have a
Not
cable
that I'd ever do that, Comcast.
Yeah.
Same household, duh. Look at their last names, you idiot.
Idiot.
You want a box in every room? No. 9. No, but sorry for the fans. One day maybe we'll explain that joke.
Inside joke. I can't afford it.
Maybe one of the worst inside jokes to bring up on a public podcast, but you took the shot with it.
Hey, I ain't fascist because I speak a little bit of German. I know one word and maybe a little bit of heritage, but I don't claim them. I swear. Dirty bastards.
All right,
all of them.
This is my parting thought for the NBA playoffs, because it's probably going to be my parting series in a couple of days. Hopefully not, but this is a warning. If the Celtics and Lakers lose, I'm rooting for Jokic and the Nuggets. But the Miami Heat Nuggets series, we're going to all forget about in a year. The NBA doesn't want that. Adam Silver.
Not in the script. It's not in the script, that's for sure.
The script. You're going to let the script write itself, or you're going to write the script? That's what I got to say to Adam Silver.
Ooh. Catch that on ESPN next time. Think you're cool before the freaking lottery. Also, we didn't talk about the lottery. Rigged.
Rigged. I don't want to talk about it. I should have put my whole paycheck on that pick. I told Trevor like 2 weeks ago, Spurs are getting that pick for sure.
Dude, the Detroit Pistons won 13 games, whatever, to just fucking get the 5th pick overall.
I was hoping he didn't go to the Pistons anyways, because it's just
They've had a few first-round picks the last couple of years too, though. Like first overalls.
It's just the Pistons are one of those teams I just
Yeah, the Browns of the NBA.
Taylor and I were talking about it, and he did say the Spurs will get in. It's rigged, and I was talking him up about Wembanyama, and I was like, the Rockets could do this, that, and this, and then of course I was really hoping the Rockets got him, and then the Spurs got him. I was like,
Spurs surprise pick, Scoot Henderson.
Wembanyama looks like he's going to be an amazing player, but I feel bad for the hype level he's getting.
Andrew Wiggins, that's all I'm going to say. Every time you compare a prospect to LeBron, Andrew Wiggins was just as hyped of a prospect as anybody else out there. Zion level, he was at Zion level hype.
No.
I thought that year he was, personally. If I go back to that year, I remember. How about for us at least then? We talked about Wiggins.
Wiggins was borderline not.
They called him the next LeBron James. They said it.
No, that was just because he went to Cleveland. Jabari Parker
traded
was
him.
almost the number 1 pick that year. He just didn't have a great rookie season at
You have
Duke.
1, 2, 3 with him and Randall too, but I
Well, there's a
swear I remember
difference.
the hype being there that year. I might
The
be
hype is not the same.
misremembering.
The
Not
hype
like
was
Wemby.
there
Not like
before
Wemby.
he
I'm
went
just
to
saying in general,
college.
the overall hype as a prospect though. Like
Well,
honestly,
he was
Draymond's
Air-
when
he
came out and said it.
He was Air Canada when he was in high school, and then he went to college and he was okay.
He did,
but
yeah, because he went to Kansas, right? He actually did kind of have a rocky,
Yeah.
year there. I do
There-
remember that.
Did you
High school
did
though.
you guys see? Did you guys see Stephen A. Smith was talking about, because you brought up Zion? He was like, between Zion's body and Ja Morant's stupidity, RJ Barrett might be the best pick from that draft.
Yeah, Mister.
Yeah.
You know, I get it, Trevor. You called out RJ Barrett that game, which you should have very well should have. But I still like RJ Barrett a lot, and I like his play. He
'cause you
crumbled.
share his name.
There's other RJs out there, Toad boy.
I know.
Honestly, like if his name was Roger Jr., okay, maybe I'd be like, okay,
That
we're
is his
brother.
name.
It's not, unfortunately.
I know. I have no idea what his name is.
But I think it's just like he's been 4 or 5 years in the league. That playoff clutchness isn't built in a day. You gotta crumbling in the playoffs happens, especially young players. And then especially when the blame for us fans is going to Randall, but in the media it's going to RJ Barrett too. Like Randall, where did Randall go that series? Where did Randall go in the playoffs overall? Actually, he went to where he's going to be next year,
I mean,
sitting at home.
That's par the course.
Yes.
Is that the phrase?
Par for the course.
Yeah.
I got it close enough.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. We need shooters too. We need shooters. We don't have any.
Don't try and squeeze your Knicks fandom in here. We're talking Celtics, okay?
Technically, we're trying to say goodbye. So long.
Yeah, well,
This is your rambling on, not me.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll close this out. All right, that's gonna do it for today's NBA
Featurette.
episode.
It's not a featurette. It's a main
Is that even a
stage.
word?
Somebody's staying. But this is No Interference. We're your host, Westside, Big Sass and the Bull. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We're gonna try to branch out for more than football now that we're moving on to year 2 of the show. But
More balls.
thanks for listening.
What?
What'd you say?
I said more balls.
I figured. Honestly, I didn't know if he said brawls or balls, but I was going with balls with my hand motion.
Different shapes
Well,
and sizes.
Thanks for listening. You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Spotify or Apple Music. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The NI Show for all of our social media shenanigans. But again, thanks for giving us a listen or a watch. If you enjoyed it, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. But that'll do it. So, adios.
See ya.
Peace.